What's up, guys? Indianapolis Colts quarterback Andrew Luck pulled off quite literally the most shocking retirement in the history of North American professional sports. There were zero indications that Luck was thinking about hanging up the cleats. NFL players don't usually retire just weeks before the start of the season. Luck's retirement changes absolutely everything going into the 2019 NFL season. And on one hand, you can't blame the guy for doing what's best for his family. But as selfish NFL fans, we're also disappointed that we won't get to see any more from Luck, one of the most talented quarterbacks to ever play the game. So let's analyze both sides of the debate by looking at 5 reasons for supporting Andrew Luck's retirement decision and 5 reasons why we think he should have kept going. Make sure to subscribe to TPS and put on your notifications because we post videos all the time. Number 5, should have. Gets to do what he loves. In his retirement speech, Luck said the following: "I haven't been able to live the life I want to live." Well, Luck will finally get the chance to explore other passions outside of football. He's known for being a huge fan of literature, art, science, and even more. In fact, he runs the Andrew Luck Book Club. The man just loves educational hobbies, and he doesn't want to stop learning. Luck also majored in engineering while at Stanford, so it's no surprise the man is obsessed with learning. Engineering is extremely difficult, if you haven't ever looked into it. Football players and pro athletes of all sorts don't have much time to enjoy their other passions and hobbies. Their playing careers just take over. Luck, while he's still fairly young, gets to do everything else he's ever wanted to do. Luck also has such a humble personality. I don't know if you guys seen the videos of him getting hit by other players, talking to coaches. He's a great guy, and he should have no problem landing television gigs, be it acting or in broadcasting. You can bet some networks will be lining up to try and have Luck follow Tony Romo's footsteps. If Luck's entire life was football, then his retirement decision would have been puzzling. But there's a million things this guy wants to do outside of football, so his retirement makes all the sense in the world. Number 5, shouldn't have. Time was on his side. We know about all the injuries that took a toll on Luck, both physically and mentally. You just cringe when you hear him talk about them. And it's obviously not hard to understand why he'd hang up the cleats, even while in his prime. But time was on Luck's side in terms of fully recovering and getting to 90 or 100% again. Luck could have stepped away for the 2019 season and see how his body would hold up for 2020. There would be no shame in taking at least 1 year off before coming back. I mean, Marshawn Lynch did that. Luck was only entering his age 30 season. There was all the time in the world for him to step aside, try to rehab and recover, and step back onto the field. What if Luck decides in a year or two that he shouldn't have retired and is anxious to get back? It's a possibility. He did a fine job explaining in his speech why he wanted to retire, but is Luck absolutely positive that he's done playing football? Especially because he's only 29 years old. What if he wakes up one day pain-free, realizing that he can go back onto the gridiron and play at a high level again? Luck should have given him more time. We're just not sure he's absolutely 100% committed to retirement. Number 4, should have. Because money doesn't matter. There was $58.125 million remaining on Luck's contract when he announced his retirement. If you factor in that Luck was due for 1 or 2 more massive contract extensions down the road, well, he'll have left hundreds of millions on the table. Jim Irsay, in fact, suggested that Luck is leaving $450 to $500 million on the table, which is the reason why the Colts owner is optimistic that his star quarterback could come out of retirement. Reports have said that Luck earned $97 million in his football career, and you know he's made millions more in his endorsements, like every star quarterback. Sure, Luck is leaving hundreds of millions on the table, but this isn't the guy who needs to make all the money in the world, and he's a humble family man, so he doesn't really care about money. And even though it's easy to question his decision to pass up all that money, let's remind you this: $100 million plus is still a lot of money for anybody. Luck isn't going to waste it all on fancy cars, mansions, and toys. He's going to be smart with it, and he's going to use it sparingly. And the guy has an engineering degree. Did we not mention that already? He can make a lot of money in non-athletic gigs. And just a side note, I heard a rumor that his family's very rich, but that's neither here nor there. Still, he clearly doesn't care about money. Luck and his wife know they have more than enough money to live happily and comfortably. Why sacrifice all those things like traveling, healthy family time, and other hobbies? Especially just to make extra money that he'll really never need. He has enough for himself and his family after him, and probably after them, as long as they don't spend crazy. Honestly, I have so much respect for him for turning down that much money. So Andy, way to not let the money get in the way of everything. Number 4, shouldn't have. Lost chance to be a Hall of Famer. I know being a Hall of Famer is based on stats and Super Bowls and a bunch of other things, but I'm just curious, can you be a Hall of Famer for being an amazing person who played in the NFL? I doubt it, but if they do decide that's a possibility, he should definitely get it first. Luck finishes his career with 23,671 passing yards and 171 touchdowns against 83 interceptions. His resume includes 4 Pro Bowl appearances and the 2018 Comeback Player of the Year award. But no matter how dominant Luck was during his 6 NFL seasons, playing a mere 6 years isn't enough for you to get into the Hall of Fame. If he had gone for another 3 to 5 years, it'd be another story. Luck doesn't have any individual hardware nor Super Bowl rings to warrant any consideration from the Canton Committee. He just had to duke it out for a few more years, and a spot in the Hall of Fame would have been a given. gimme. He played in an era with numerous future Hall of Famers, including Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees, Ben Roethlisberger, and Phillip Rivers, among others. Luck was ultra dominant throughout his 6 NFL seasons, but it's going to be hard to remember his playing career since it didn't last long and since he won't be enshrined in Canton. Number 3, should have. Lost desire. When you're a professional athlete, you have to be all in. You have to be committed to putting your body through all that extensive training. You have to go through all the pain. No guts, no glory after all. You can't be 90% in. You have to be 100% committed. No quarterback can take the field and try to lead the offense if in the back of their mind, they're questioning if they really want to keep doing this. And it's crazy because he actually did really well last season, and clearly this was in the back of his mind, so clearly he put a lot into this. Luck talked about all the injuries and rehab he had to go through, and at the end of the day, football was no longer fun for him. He lost the desire. I mean, this happens to a lot of people, myself included. Some guys just don't want to stop until their body breaks. Tom Brady could have easily walked away after his 6th Super Bowl, with nothing else to play for, but he has the drive and the desire to keep going, because that's the guy he is. Luck simply doesn't, and that's okay. You can't last long in this business without being 100% sure you want to play football. And Luck knew he didn't want to play football anymore. That also makes his retirement decision understandable. Number 3, shouldn't have. Leaving Colts in a bind. Obviously, decisions like this take a lot of time to go over and reflect on. They're not made overnight. But you know those Colts fans who booed Luck off the field were merely voicing their frustrations. They clearly shouldn't have done that, but they were upset. For the second time in 3 years, fans who paid for season tickets wound up getting burned at the last minute, realizing that without their franchise star, they simply weren't going to get their money's worth. And you know, all those fantasy players who picked Luck first overall, they're definitely regretting it. People who already made bets on Luck. But at the end of the day, it's his health. It's his happiness. Luck's retirement decision came 2 weeks before the regular season. 2 weeks. In a way, you can't help but think, maybe he should have done this sooner. Or maybe he could have given it 1 extra year to help the Colts in their succession plan. Maybe last year was that extra year that he was giving. But then again, he did wait until 2 weeks before the regular season, so it was probably just the end for him. The Colts could have drafted their QB of the future. Or if Luck had retired much earlier, they could have pursued Nick Foles or even Teddy Bridgewater. Instead, they'll lean on backup Jacoby Brissett and try to lead the team in a brutally tough AFC South division. You just feel like Luck owed it to the Colts to give a little better warning with the retirement. It's okay that you retire, just maybe a little bit sooner would have been better, but you know. GM Chris Ballard will have a heck of a time scrambling for his QB of the future, while head coach Frank Reich was given very little time working with his new starting quarterback for 2019. And so Luck's Colts go from Super Bowl 54 favorite to most likely a last place finish in the AFC South. It's not ideal. Not ideal at all. Number 2, should have, because health. Luck missed 9 games of the 2015 season after suffering a lacerated kidney. That took place during a home game against the eventual Super Bowl champion Denver Broncos, in which Luck guided his team to victory. Luck had also dealt with shoulder surgery earlier in the season. He missed just 1 game in 2016, but a string of injuries held back Luck for large portions. This included a concussion as well as a very serious shoulder injury. Luck wound up undergoing off-season shoulder surgery in 2017 and had to miss the entire year. Before he retired, it appeared as Luck was going to miss multiple games in 2019 due to a nagging calf injury. But like seriously, how can anybody fault a guy for wanting to retire when his body is broken? Injury after injury, like I don't know how he handled it. I couldn't handle it, clearly, but you know, that's neither here nor there. Concussions are scary enough to deal with, but this guy has had constant pain all over the rest of his body as well. That's like awful. Nobody wants to deal with that pain. The guy wants to be healthy for the rest of his life, and he will be. Sadly, this isn't always the case for NFL players when they play into their mid-30s or even 40s. A lot of them experience health problems for the rest of their lives. Luck has decided that the joy and glory of playing football isn't as valuable as being sharp for the remainder of his life. Can you really blame him for choosing health over money and power? Number 2, shouldn't have. Compete for Super Bowls. If Luck was playing on a terrible team with no hope, and if there was no real way of trading him, the retirement decision would have made a bit more sense. But we rarely ever see a superstar athlete retire in his 20s, or in his prime when his team is in a very good position to win for many years. At least when Jim Brown retired, he had already won an NFL championship with the Cleveland Browns. The same goes for Gronk in New England. As for Calvin Johnson and Barry Sanders, their Detroit Lions were never going to win anything. No offense. But Luck had yet to win a Super Bowl, and the Colts looked primed to win multiple Lombardi trophies under his watch. Darius Leonard and Justin Houston would anchor a stout defense. Luck, T.Y. Hilton, Marlon Mack, and the league's best O-line would take this offense to a new level. And with Tom Brady surely retiring in the near future, the Colts would be in a prime position to rule the AFC for a long, long time. If Luck already had a Super Bowl or 2 on his resume, we'd fully get it. But my God, he came all this way and was getting real close to leading Indy to the promised land, only to retire. So is he sure about this decision? I mean, he must be. Number 1, should have, because family first. I don't think I've ever agreed more with the number 1 on one of our lists. A lot of pro athletes retire in their prime simply because they want to spend more time with their families. Remember, these guys sacrifice a lot. They're making hundreds of million dollars to play a sport they love, but they also don't get to spend much time with their families. Well, Luck tied the knot with his wife Nicole in the 2019 offseason, and shortly after they announced they're expecting their first child together. At the end of the day, Luck wants to spend time with his wife while raising a family together. And again, Luck wants to be happy and healthy for his wife and future children. Family matters more than anything else in life. Work, sports, money, fame, endorsements, everything. Luck knows this, and it's why he made the right call. Number 1, shouldn't have. Still in his prime. Michael Jordan retired in his prime, then came back. Jim Brown had nothing left to prove, plus he was starting up a movie career. Barry Sanders was still in his prime, but realistically, he only had a couple more prime years left. But with Andrew Luck, it's quite surprising that he'd retire before his 30th birthday, when he had so much left to give. He was coming off an MVP caliber season. His Colts were 1 win away from reaching the AFC Championship game in 2018, and a healthy Luck was ready to take Indy one step further in 2019. Quarterbacks these days are playing at extremely high levels in their late 30s and early 40s. Luck probably had at least 5 ultra-prime MVP caliber seasons left in him. For us fans, we can only sit back and wonder what if Luck had kept on playing. And again, you gotta be happy for Luck that he put his family and health first. But the NFL landscape has changed forever with his retirement, and we'll always be left wondering what could have been. And I just have to say, Andrew, from all NFL fans, from Colts fans, from everyone, thank you for the effort you've put, thank you for the time, thank you for the good memories, and thank you for making this league better and more exciting for everyone who's watching. You're an amazing human being, and we wish you the best of luck in the future. So thank you, Andrew. Good luck to you. Do you think Andrew Luck made the right decision to retire? Join me in the comment section below. Make sure to follow myself and TPS on social media. We post great content all the time. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. I post videos all the time as well. If you like this video, give it a like. It takes 1 click right down there. We really appreciate it. It really helps us out. If you like Andrew Luck, give a like down below. I'm sure he'll appreciate that as well. Make sure to subscribe to TPS and put on your notifications because we post videos all the time. New videos all the time. Subscribe. Of course, thank you so much for watching. I'm Jason Biondo. I'll see you next time.